This is the very, very long-awaited Toyota GR Corolla. So long-awaited, in fact, I'm not standing around here doing this introduction. Right, well that's better, because to be honest, I really couldn't wait to drive this car. To be frank, it's long overdue. Toyota may have had some sporty Corollas in the past, but never one like this. This is a direct rival to the likes of the Honda Civic Type R and the Volkswagen Golf R, the benchmark hot hatches. That's because this is a red-hot, track-capable hot hatch. So, to put it to its paces, we're going to be driving it on the road, and we're going to hit the track at Sydney Motorsport Park to really see what it's capable of. So, buckle up and come along for the ride. And of course, don't forget to check out my in-depth written review at carsguide.com.au. Pricing is a tricky question to answer with any in-demand cars these days, and the GR Corolla is certainly going to be in demand. The official list price is $62,300, which is highly competitive against the likes of the Golf R and the Civic Type R, both of which are more expensive. However, Toyota Australia is only getting 700 examples of the car this year, despite more than 4,000 expressions of interest, which means demand will far outstrip supply, which in the case of the GR Yaris especially, led to plenty of early buyers quickly selling their car for a handsome profit. Toyota Australia is keen to avoid that again, so has asked its dealers to try and prioritise buyers who want to buy the GR Corolla and use it, rather than those who see it as a commodity. How successful they will be remains to be seen, but the company executives stressed that they will do their best to increase supply in 2024 and beyond to ensure everyone who wants one can buy a GR Corolla for the official list price. Okay, so I have popped out of the driver's seat for a moment to take you through the design because, quite simply, this is not your mum's Corolla. It's bigger, it's wider, and frankly, it's just meaner than any other Corolla you've ever seen. And it starts at the front with this unique lower bumper, which has this massive air intake to feed the engine. You've got a bonnet with a power bulge and a pair of aggressive vents. Along the side, the guards are pumped out to fit the wider track with 18-inch alloy wheels and sticky Yokohama tyres. We've got another vent, functional vent here at the back, a Gazoo racing badge to let you know what you've bought. As we come along the side, we've got these side sills with GR4 embossed into them, and of course at the rear, another pumped out guard. As we swing around to the back, we'll find another unique rear bumper that houses a small diffuser, and of course, not one, not two, but 3 exhausts, and they are functional. They're not just there to look good. Okay, so back inside, those sporty touches continue. So we've got this leather-wrapped wheel, the leather-wrapped gear selector, and the aluminium pedals are basically lifted from the GR Yaris. You've got a rotary dial down in the center console here that controls the all-wheel drive system, and we've got a 12-inch digital instrument panel. But to me, the favorite bit of the interior is this, a good old-fashioned mechanical handbrake, and more on that later. Okay, now let's talk practicality, and unsurprisingly, it's very similar to a Corolla. So you've got all the sort of the usual small car accommodations. As we mentioned earlier in terms of specification, we've got the 8-inch screen up here that does have wireless Apple CarPlay, but you will need a cable if you use an Android phone to get the Android Auto. The good news is it does come with heated seats. We've got a smartphone charging pad, which is handy. But overall, small item storage is actually a little lacking. We've got a pair of cup holders, which is great, but only this sort of small shelf back here, a little landing spot, and then a single USB port and a power outlet. So you could certainly do with a little more space to, pop your odds and ends. Okay, as for second row practicality, as you can see, this is my driving position, and well, there's not a whole lot of room, but look, it's a small car. It's a Corolla, so they've never been limousines, and that's to be understood. The good news is it does have these back doors, so getting in and out if you need to. It's obviously a more practical alternative than the GR Yaris, so you can take your friends if you need to. Just hopefully, though, they're maybe a smidge shorter than me. Finally, the boot. Well, because it's got an all-wheel drive system with a rear differential, and actually the battery has been repositioned here as well for better weight distribution, the actual luggage capacity is only 213 litres. So it's not the most practical of cars, But again, it's a hot hatch, so you do have to play the trade-offs. Underneath the more muscular bonnet is the same 1.6 litre 3-cylinder turbocharged petrol engine found in the GR Yaris, but it has been tweaked and upgraded for this larger model. It makes more power, 221 kilowatts compared to 200 in the Yaris, but torque remains the same at 307 Newton meters. Once again, it's paired to a 6-speed manual gearbox with no automatic option available because Toyota is only interested in attracting enthusiasts who prefer to do the shifting themselves. All that power is sent to the road via the same all-wheel drive system from the GR Yaris Rally, with Torsen limited slip diffs on the front and rear. So let's start with how it drives on the road. And the good news is this is a well-sorted hot hatch in the sense that it doesn't feel restrained and compromised just driving around town. You know, in low-speed traffic conditions, sometimes such a focused hot hatch can feel, lumpy and recalcitrant and just altogether difficult to drive. You know, they can have heavy clutches, they can have peaky engines. Not the GR Corolla. It really is, frankly, as easy to drive as any other Corolla around town. The other things that stand out on the road are the ride is actually quite comfortable, even though it's dynamically focused, because it's on 18-inch wheels, it has a decent side profile on the tyre, so it can absorb some of those bumps. Obviously it's firm, but not uncomfortably so. Of course, that's not to say it's a boring car. It's actually a very fun car to drive on the road. It is a hot hatch, and it's got that hot hatch, playful, dynamic character about it. So it is enjoyable. When you find a twisty piece of road, you can, let your hair down and have a bit of fun. But to really explore its limits and to really understand its potential, you are going to want to take this on the track. Toyota has designed it with the racetrack in mind. So, thankfully for us, Toyota has Sydney Motorsport Park at our disposal. Now, out here on the track is where you can really test just how capable the GR Corolla is. Unfortunately for us, weather isn't on our side and it has rained out here to make the track nice and slippery. The diffs can actually operate in 3 settings. There's a front bias 60-40, there's the track setting which is 50-50, and then there's a rear biased 30-70 split. So if you want to hang the tail out, you can. And you really can feel the difference, particularly out on track here with these different modes. Obviously the front biased version will pull you out of corners a lot more easily. It really sort of drags you out of the corner, so to speak, rather than push you out like the rear bias does. Obviously the rear bias gives you a little bit more understeer into the corner, but if you get on the gas early enough, there we go, it'll slide around a bit. Which is a real, for the kind of enthusiast that Toyota is going for, this kind of high-tech trickery is great. It's really right up the alley of what the modern-day track day enthusiast is after. Now, as for the rest of the car, the little 1.6 engine, feels so much more powerful than its size suggests. It is a really grunty engine, makes a nice sort of mechanical growl. What it lacks in size, it certainly makes up for in sort of a gruff noise. It sounds like a much bigger and meaner engine than it actually is on paper. So this is a quick car on track. It feels genuinely sprightly from corner to corner. And the gearbox is great. The gearbox is really well suited to it. Again, the manual is designed for enthusiasts. Toyota doesn't want this to be a hot hatch for all people. This isn't the hot hatch that is necessarily for, just cruising to and from the shops. Even though it'll do that, the reality is this is for people that really want to be engaged in the driving experience. They want to change gears. They want to play with the diffs and slide it around. And then, of course, one of the other cool features that it has is the handbrake, which as we've said, it's a manual handbrake, not a little clicky button. And it actually disengages the drive to the rear when you pull it. So you don't even have to dip the clutch, and the back end can slide around. So if you want to go do some handbrake turns on a skid pan or something like we've done today, you can do that too, and you can feel like your own little rally star. Overall, the GR Corolla just feels like a more grown-up version of the GR Yaris. It's bigger, it feels more stable, feels just as quick because it's got that extra power. And so, you know, this really is a fantastic hot hatch that really maybe will upset the establishment. So certainly the new Civic Type R, when it comes here, is going to have quite a fight on its hands. Despite all that performance, the GR Corolla returns an impressive claimed fuel economy figure for such a powerful engine. Of course, our track testing meant that figure was significantly higher, and you can expect to see returns in the low to mid-teens if you drive it as intended on the road or just around town. While the focus was clearly on performance for the GR Corolla, Toyota didn't forget about safety. It comes equipped with 7 airbags, front and rear parking sensors, and a reversing camera for starters. It also gets the Toyota Safety Sense package of active safety features. Now you can read all the details of those in my written review if you're interested. The GR Corolla may be a departure for the brand in terms of performance, but it's still covered by the company's trademark warranty and cap price servicing program. The warranty is now an industry standard 5 years, unlimited kilometres. Cap price servicing is included for the first 3 years and costs a flat $300 per visit. Unfortunately, Toyota is starting to drag behind its competition in terms of service intervals though, requiring you to visit the dealership every 6 months or 10,000 Ks. So what's the verdict on the GR Corolla? Because long waits tend to lead to high expectations that can be hard to meet, especially when its predecessor, the GR Yaris, was so well received. And as this shares so much in common with the GR Yaris. Is it really a better car, or is it just Toyota's just copied their homework, so to speak? Well, having driven it in a variety of conditions, the news is good. This is a genuinely impressive car, maybe more impressive than the GR Yaris because it's bigger, it's more enjoyable on the track, but it's still agile and nimble on the road. It's a slightly bigger car, so it's slightly more practical. It is just an all-round excellent hot hatch, and that is something we've been waiting a very long time from Toyota.